Hallelujah.
Well, thank you.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Have I woke you up?
No, I've been awake since 9. I'm just trying to make the bags under my eyes go away. There.
No, they're French. Have you not seen the thing online about women don't get the lower bleph?
What?
This part, like your natural eye bags, women are going to get a lower blepharoplasty.
Ladies, keep your lower bleph, keep your under eye bags. Please let Leah be an example of how incredibly hot and cool they are. This is what makes her sexy. This is what makes her so, like, chic and fashion. Like this stare with the bag underneath. Oh, it's so hot.
You know, so you just look French. Also, if your light is slightly higher than your bleph,
It is.
it's going to show a shadow.
Because if I do this, it's away.
See how you can then see mine more when I like go lower than the light?
I've been moisturising. I'm starting to take care of myself.
Good.
Now that I'm nearly 40.
It's about damn time.
Drinking loads of water.
I do drink loads of water. Here's my wee pint of water here.
I have the worst farts at the minute as well. They're absolutely leaping.
Same.
And I actually had a dream that someone came into the house and was like, your house smells so much like fart.
Tuberculosis.
I was nearly ill. But I was able to fight it off, and I feel like I've stopped it from getting proper sick anyway.
Oh, that's good. It's that time of year, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right.
Your big, dirty, fucking stinking swallow down the microphone is one of the worst. I have that.
As opposed to...
Please help me. I'm going insane.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to All Bronze No Brains, your new favourite Buffy the Vampire Slayer rewatch podcast. Oh my god, David, is your arm okay?
Yeah, it's fine.
I'm your host, Tony, and he's also your host, David. Say hello, David.
Hello, David.
Good boy. We're on episode 49 of the podcast, and we're talking about basically Bad Girls Part 2 today. Consequences.
Yes, Consequences. Buffy Season 3, Episode 15, written by Marty Noxon and directed by Michael Gershom, who's also the show's director of photography. Didn't know that.
Could you tell it was a Marty Noxon episode whenever we got to the violent sex scene?
Oh my god. Later? No, I know you've referred to this before, but no, I didn't put two and two together. Fuck.
Yeah.
So a little recap. Remember they accidentally killed D-Math? Oh my god, at the end of Bad Girls.
Oh my god.
Faith dumped the body and told Buffy, I don't care. Which was quite like genuinely chilling moment because I believe Faith does care. And she cares so much that that's what's going to make her spiral. So before we get into the episode, we always start with some burning questions. Just how good is Wesley's hearing?
How the fuck does Xander have the women of Sunnydale still crying over him? And
just how sexy is that detective with the moustache?
Oh my god, he is so sexy.
He's a very handsome man, but he's not sexy. We're not interviewing him just because he's sexy.
Yes, we are.
See, if it was me now and I was just like, I don't want to interview them because they're really sexy, I'd be getting fucking lambasted on the internet, but just because you're a fucking poof.
I know it's a double standard, unfortunately, but you've benefited from a higher system of oppression for centuries, whereas my people...
No, I haven't. Because everyone's thought I was gay since I've been fucking in school, so I've still been fucking shots fired from the something or other. I forgot I don't really know what I'm talking about.
You've hid behind that minority expression.
Yeah. Like this.
Yeah. You're doing gay face. It's like blackface, but with homosexuality.
Very good. That was really funny.
Right, now we're only going to shallow dive into the psychological aspect of this episode because we'll have a bit more of a deeper dive over on our Patreon. Because yesterday I started listening to the Becoming Buffy episode of Consequences. I had to stop after like 2 minutes because it was like so deep and so good that I didn't just want to regurgitate it, like everything that Sarah said, but in like a shittier way.
I think that is what our podcast is, just kind of their podcast, but in a shittier way.
Oh, I'm so glad I worked so hard on it. Oh my god. So we're going to talk a little bit, very, very, very small bit about Carl Jung. You might know about him because you've done therapy. Do you know about Carl Jung? Carl Jung was a Swiss psychiatrist and the founder of analytical psychologically, psychology. Psychology. Hold on. Sorry. Oh, sure, we'll keep it in psychology. He started out working closely with Sigmund Freud, and then he dramatically broke away from him because Jung was more interested in like myth and symbolism, dreams, spirituality, and why humans keep telling the same stories over and over. So in Jungian psychology, the shadow self is part of ourselves that we repress. It's like forbidden impulses, anger and violence, selfishness, desire for power, fear of weakness. But the emphasis on the shadow self not being evil is just like an unintegrated form of us. And in this episode, we see that Buffy kind of integrates her shadow into who she is, and Faith becomes her shadow. I kept that burping until the end. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I don't mind you burping. No, I actually don't mind you burping. It's just you have a real deep swallow.
You wouldn't tease a girl, would you?
I think because you make your swallow sexy for boys.
Yeah, I do.
That now you've forgotten how to unmake it sexy. So it's like, it's like, whoa. I can imagine if you were getting deep throated or something, that would be really sexy by some fella, but not at 9:30 in the morning.
Sorry.
I'm only joking. Your burps don't bother me though.
Okay.
Oh my God.
I'm going to be so conscious deep throating all over Christmas. I'll not be deep throating anyone over Christmas. Well, maybe we'll see.
I love that even you can commit to that. It's like, I won't be. Well,
I haven't sucked a willy since the last time I was home, probably.
why do you not go for the Glaswegians? Are they all druggies and then it's tempting?
No, not really. It's just...
No?
I mean, I have to avoid druggies and they're generally easier to seduce, but I think a lot of the people I would have like hooked up with were like straight guys that were like on the DL that would like come for the drugs and the
Come
everything.
for the drugs.
The drug of my throat. Anyway, cold open. Hold on. Let me sip my tea. I'll do it away from there.
No, it's okay. Just drink your tea. It's okay. Honestly, I'm being a wee dick. It's lovely. It's fine.
Okay, so cold open. We open with a nightmare. Buffy's being drowned and being pulled under the water by DMAF. Obviously, I think this metaphor speaks for itself, like drowning in guilt, fear, etc. And then when she gets to the top, she's plunged back under by Faith, and Buffy wakes up in her bed. We see Joyce is watching a news report in her bedroom. I just found it funny. I thought her seat was so close to the TV.
Yep, same. Thought it was in the living room, realised it's in her bedroom. Thought it was weird.
And I love the news report does all the heavy lifting of the exposition. It's like, earlier today, fishermen found a body in the water and it's been identified as Deputy Mayor Ellen Finch. This is what the mayor has to say about it.
Yeah, that's really good. Yes, but I don't mind that. That is what news reports are supposed to do.
It's smart.
This is 24 hours later, right?
Yeah. Faith has
So-
done such a shit job.
Yeah, I was
at-
about to say she needs to have a wee word with the RAR, the UVF or something, and how to get rid of bodies.
She literally could have put it in the bin that she killed him against.
Yeah, and she could have cleaned up the blood. Anyway, many different.
I think that was but you know, Sunnydale.
But I think it's to do with her not actually secretly wanting to get caught. This would be like a Jungian thing, I think.
They should rename this Hellmouth to fucking the Stupid Mouth because all it does is make people act stupid.
Or Smash Mouth. Somebody wants to. I'm sorry.
Some bodies in the river, it was found just by floating.
I know, I thought she'd weighed it down. What, with fucking balloons?
Yeah, Alan still, DMAF's just out here being like, yeah, snatched, he's so skinny, he still floats.
Hang on 1 second. I need to move a car. So Trina, do you want to come in and say hello?
Yeah, do I want to say hi, yeah?
I'm on
Let
the
her take
podcast.
over while
Down
you're
here.
moving your car.
Dip your head down.
Look, there
Dip
she
your
is.
head down. There's a big
There
man
she is.
there. She is.
I'll
I'll
treat her Aguilera.
Oh, hang on. I can't hear you. Hang on. Are you a spy?
It sounds like bless. What?
Are you a spy today?
Yes.
Fair
What
play.
do you call that when you stealth? No. Stealth.
Stealth.
So,
Why does he always have to make a dickhead of me?
He said it. He said stealth.
I told him yesterday I'm going to change his name in my phone to Winker because he's an absolute winker.
you're
Okay.
funny. I forgot how funny you were.
Well, you could have
Why are you
laughed.
fake laughing? Yeah.
Tell your face that.
That's an ongoing podcast problem, Trina. Too sensitive. You're both biting each other. Hang on. I need to move my car. Will you give me 1 wee second?
Yes.
I'll let you be 1 second. I'll put those headphones
No
back in.
Where do we get to? Faith not being very good at weighing down the body.
So the body down like the fucking man in the house and up. Would that not be a really good way of getting rid of a body? Instead of like weighing it down, just tie loads of balloons to it and let it float away.
But then they would eventually pop and the body would come flying back to Earth. Oh,
Yeah,
but it would
but it
probably
would
smash it
smash.
so much. I just don't know why people don't keep bodies closer to them. Well, I guess they do. Loads of killers do. They keep them in their house and stuff. I was like, because there's probably less chance the police will come there, but I guess not if you're an actual serial killer. But I wouldn't keep like, vats of acid in my bedroom.
I always think you're one bad murder away from being like, oh my god, I got really hard when I did that, and then you would turn into a serial killer.
Yeah, I love the idea of being able to get away with killing someone. However, I've had dreams about it and how it's felt very stressful, like in it being caught by the police and stuff. But anyway,
Nothing to do with the idea of murdering someone would be morally wrong. It's the idea of like it'd be quite stressy getting caught.
I think it depends on the person and why you murder them. Like Dexter. He kills all the bad people. Anyway, the mayor's on TV and he says they will find this killer and they will bring him to justice. And I'm like, where's justice? And Joyce is like every Irish mummy when you come back to visit at Christmas. Oh, did you hear who died? Is that such a Northern Irish thing to just always be like, oh, you'll never hear who's dead?
I think it's actually just a worldwide phenomenon. People when they get over the age of 50, think it's like all grannies. It's like all they care about is and grandfathers. It's like I have a funeral this week. I have 3 funerals this week. Who died? Be like the best mate, and they're acting like it's nothing. Maybe when you get to
Yeah.
a point in life, you can't wait to be dead.
I mean, I was at that point last year.
If you need help, please get help.
Oh, no, I just meant like I felt content, like I was ready to go.
Fair.
Right, so the credits happen.
So they do.
Then we're into the credits. Yeah. So, but yeah,
Good cold open.
Joyce is
Good
basically
cold
like, did you hear?
open.
Yes.
Good cold open.
Sorry.
Good cold open.
Uh,
Can I? Good cold open.
I was
Sorry,
gonna say,
I think
let
you're
me-
waiting on me
shall I
to
ask
talk
you?
about something.
Oh yeah. What did you think about
As
cold
you go
open?
to- Yeah, it was really good.
Uh,
No,
Extend
I thought it was unexpected. And when she came out and there was Faith, I was like, wait, is this happening in real life? And because it was like, it had me for a wee minute because it looked like a dream at the beginning. And then I also hate drowning scenes in movies. It really fucking freaks me out watching people do that thing because I used to do that all the time when I was swimming. I would try to
Imitate drowning.
not imitate drowning. I would try to see if I can swim all the way across without breathing. Obviously, underwater, I tried to get all the way across, like coming up for air, and there was like
Yeah.
a few times, but I had it in my head. I was like, I'm not coming up, even if it means I die. I was fine, and I still had to anyway. I just really as I'm watching, I start going like this at 4 of them because it freaks me out.
Isn't it
But
funny that as kids we play so many games that involve holding your breath, like to see you could hold your breath the longest, like to the point of nearly passing out. Like when you go through a tunnel,
when you masturbate,
sometimes I've found that's
Mhm,
not related to masturbation. It's just that I don't know why that came out. I was
mhm.
gonna say, but when I'm doing photo shoots, sometimes when I'm taking pictures, I'll be holding my breath.
Is that not to make sure you don't move?
I haven't thought about it like that, but I think anything that I do with concentration, all of a sudden I'll stop breathing, and it'll only be when I'm done. I'm like, ah.
I have a funny feeling that might be like a human thing.
I remember doing that when we were in Switzerland because there's so many tunnels and being like, okay, hold your breath, and then you go in, it's 5-kilometer tunnel. Like,
I was gonna say in that one it's 15 minutes long. I went through a tunnel in Switzerland one time, and it was it was actually quite frightening because it was I thought it was going into the place where Balroth from Lord of the Rings.
oh yeah,
is.
the Mines of Moria.
Moira.
Yeah,
Moira's had past Lisburn.
yeah, the Mines of Moria, and it's like the caves of Craigavon. Well, what I really was going to ask was, when you're watching Titanic, whenever the ship's about to go under the water, when Jack's like, hold your breath. Do you ever hold your breath with him to
every
see if
time.
you can? Yeah,
I've never seen it twice, but every time both times I would.
yeah.
After
We
the
open-
credits.
I'm fairly certain I said no interruptions.
After the credits, we open in the library. It's because I've wrote my notes in short form for a minute. I just what does this mean? Alice and Johnny, that trick doesn't work. So we open in the library and we've got Wesley telling Buffy and Faith that he wants them to look into the murders, and Buffy questions whether that's even their jurisdiction, and Faith is the one who's being all nicey nice, and she's like, yeah, don't worry, we'll look into it for you, Wesley. Want my Buffy? Giles supports Buffy, saying it's not a supernatural killing, so there's really no reason why they should be doing it. And Wesley's like, well, I didn't fucking ask you, did I?
Yeah, I like that.
Cordy appears looking for books for psychology class for Freud and Jung.
Pedo alert.
Yes, she's a pedo.
That was quite a honking.
Yeah, I thought it was quite an interesting thing to do. It's quite smart that they're obviously just trying to hammer that home with the smarties that they know will be breaking this down years later.
Why are you talking about Sarah?
Like Sarah?
Wesley is very enamored by Cordelia until he finds out she's a student. Well, even after he finds out she's a student, he's still not completely unenamored with her. But I do like his line when he's like, yes, I'm here to watch girls. I mean, Faith and Buffy. I like that Faith says first word jail, second word bait. I love it. Wesley insists either way, he wants to know what killed DMAF.
I quite like the dig that there was about the fact that they all look 30 when he's like, you one of the teachers? It's like, is that a little meta dig that they all look over the age of 25?
Oh, I'm surprised she didn't take that personally, actually.
Because she did look like one of the teachers.
Anyway, Faith and Buffy leave, and Faith drags Buffy into the classroom, and she's like, are you going to fucking tout on me? And Buffy thinks that they should tell. She can't pretend to not know. And Faith says this whopper of line, which is like, but you can pretend that Angel's still dead when you need to protect him. And I'm like, she's not wrong.
No. Well, I guess I don't think you can equate the two. Pretending your boyfriend has come alive and murdering a human being for no reason other than you thought he might have been, well, accidentally killing someone, not murder. I think they use the murder wrong. I think the use of murder is incorrect here because it wouldn't be classified as a murder. He's killed.
Yeah. I think it feels more, it's definitely more like manslaughter with like afterthought to cover up the body.
Yeah. Well, but still manslaughter.
That's the part that makes it feel more like murder, I think, because there's been, what do they call that?
Murder has to be preemptive.
Yeah.
It can't be murder unless it's premeditated. Therefore, it's manslaughter.
I think the police though are approaching it like murder because the body's being hid, and it's only probably...
Oh, I can get why they're calling it a murder, but I think like us as the viewers, I'm like, and the people who know, I'm like, it should be for the kill.
I also think thinking in the Buffy world to someone like Faith, who is like demons are normal and human things are normal, and she doesn't see them as being any different. That's why it's easy for her to say like, oh well, the thing with Angel, because even Giles made the comment earlier in the season about harboring a known murderer.
Yes.
I don't know if maybe they plopped that in there too, to maybe be able to have this comparison later, because obviously Angel becomes the one that becomes a bit of her therapist. But basically, anyway, Faith tells Buffy, you're part of this whether you like it or not, check.
True. She's
Yeah.
right. Didn't disagree. I just don't know why Buffy's so intimidated by Faith.
I don't even think it's intimidated, and I have wrote this at another point. It's like Buffy is a bit full on about this murder. I feel like Buffy pushes Faith into dealing with it the way that she has. She's like, Faith, you murdered someone. Like, if you'd have just calmed down and left it be, maybe you could have went to Giles and sorted it out. Yeah.
Agreed. I thought just being a bit, but then again, I just thought like, why wouldn't she, like, why is she listening to Faith so much? Like, why didn't she just go, anyway, well, it doesn't matter. Why did you just ring a place? No, I'm joking.
Well, especially now we know the police work for LeBar.
No, because you fancy the place, so you'd be phoning them all the time, like, oh my god, Mr. Detective Man, someone might have broke into my house, and they've got like a rose petals leading up to your bedroom and into your butthole.
my rosebud. I've just prolapsed my rosebud out of the bed. I'm like, please, can you put it back in with your dick? Anyway, we get this.
Sorry, go ahead.
We get this great little scene with Buffy and Willow following this, where Willow literally looks like a full-on lesbian at this point, but very, very cute in her dungarees. And also her hair looks significantly longer. Don't know if you noticed it, but I felt like her hair's getting like nice and long.
I did, but I really wish I'd stop putting her in dungarees. I think she's like grown out of this a little bit. I think they're still putting her in these kiddie clothes or like innocent clothes, and it's like kind of bugging me a wee bit.
The theory a bit, I think it's because she feels hurt by Buffy. She's almost like a bit infantilized. Like it's like her comfort zone, because she's having it's like a regression almost, because like if Buffy's and her aren't on a normal level, she's like season 1 Willow.
Have her and Oz had sex?
No.
Right, okay. I actually thought it might have been also like to highlight the difference between all of them and her. Later on, when we found out Xander is popped as wee rosebud,
Yeah.
maybe it does make sense. But it just is really, I don't know. There's something, I don't know. I just
Yeah.
was like, I can't wait for some Willow progression now, because it's like, it feels like she's the only one standing still.
Season 4 is definitely like a Willow heavy progression moment. Even towards the end of the season is actually in the next few episodes is actually.
I feel like I'm going to get something. I feel like there's something happening with Willow. There's a bit of like nuance.
Something's brewing.
Yeah, like a witch, because your witch is brave.
Anyway, there's this lovely awkward interaction between them that I just felt it read so real. And I think if you've been in situations like that, you're just like, oh, that feels kind of awkward. Willow says she has to leave because she's going to meet big gay Michael the Warlock because they're still trying to de-rat Amy.
Which I love. I love that we're still talking about this fake person called Amy.
And she's like, so bye. And the way she left too was just so like, oh yeah, I felt that. I've like.
That's how you leave when you're awkward. That's your way of leaving an awkward interaction.
That's my way of leaving most interactions. So, we cut to the alleyway and we see sexy mustache dildo model Detective Stein is back.
Okay.
He's a dildo model in Sex and the City called Garth and a poet. That's why. He'll get it if he's listening.
I did recognize this. I do recognize him. That's right. I've seen that episode.
Played by the beautiful James MacDonald. And he's on the scene in the alleyway interviewing witnesses. We see all that blood on the bin that Faith didn't bother to clean up. Did she push the stake the whole way through him? I guess when you stake a vampire, you do pierce their heart, so it probably did go the whole way through him. They just don't imply that it goes the whole way through. It just was like, oh, Jesus.
That's a really good point. I'm thinking about that. That's a good point.
We see a lot of police presence, including Angel, who sees the blood on the big bin, and we flash back to him seeing the blood on Buffy's hand. Clearly, he can smell it too. And this is the start of Angel playing secret detective in this episode, just appeared out of like alleyways and corners, being like,
but not even secret detective. He's
there
like
was a
being
murder taking place in the city. See,
like a noir over. I want you to do. I hope you could do like a noir voiceover of like,
the blood shone on the bin like a cherry in the midnight moon.
yes, that's exactly it. Yes, and it'd be a really bad saxophone over the top of it, like old.
Yeah.
Don't need the voiceover. You just nailed it.
Yeah, I'll just do it myself.
But even he comes out, he looks like Batman. They're always doing like Batman vibes because he has like the pointy like.
Hey, Mitchell.
It was, but I'm down for it all day. I'm assuming this is leading into him being Angel Detective in like Angel.
I totally didn't even think about that, but yeah, that's exactly what it's doing because he runs a private detective agency in Angel.
I got that feeling when I was watching this. It's like they're turning him into a private dick. I was like, oh, I think he is that in Angel.
Oh my god, a private dick. That just reminds me of that Christina Aguilera SNL sketch where she's playing Samantha from Sex and the City, and she's like, a plum smuggler, a weenie in a bottle. She's like, a private dick.
It's a funny joke. That's good, man.
That's really good. Anyway, we cut to the city hall and the mayor's doing loads of shredding of paperwork and it's not cheering him up, which he says it normally does, because he can't believe that DMAF would leave such a paper trail of their dealings. I like that we're getting this sense that DMAF was like actually good and trying to like, oust the mayor. Mr. Trick gives the mayor the info that wood was found in DMAF's stab hole and the mayor gets all excited about getting the slayers done for murder and he does a wee evil cackle to himself.
I quite like that. Before now, I've thought DMAF has been good by his acting in The Office. I always had the inkling of like, is he on the side of the good people? So I have had that wee feeling for a while, which I thought again, go DMAF. That was some fucking class acting because I've been feeling that since because he's just had that innocent caught up in the bad thing. Look, the way kind of Buffy looks in this episode.
Yeah, except DMAF could handle it much better.
He's a bit cooler about it.
Sarah Michelle Gellar's having a full-on sertraline crash out.
I like that we're getting a bit of CSI, actual real life stuff, which is nice to see. And he gets all love a big evil laugh. Genuinely love the mayor. I'm not taking the piss. I love him. I think he's so good in this. I think his acting, everything he brings his character is so interesting. Yeah, I've not bored of him. Whereas the master was boring and one-dimensional. The mayor's so like, there's so many layers to his character. I just think is fucking brilliant.
It only gets deeper as well. Like based on the end of this episode, we now start to have a kind of father-daughter
Yes.
relationship that comes into
Oh,
play.
wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So we open after the break. So we get our little cut to break. We open after the break, and Buffy and Faith are breaking into DMAF's office. Faith mentions that he came out of nowhere. Like when she's looking at a picture of him, she's like, he came out of nowhere, and you can see she's getting a bit emotional. And Buffy does the most annoying sentence, which would bring me out of it too. She's like, it's okay. Like, it wasn't your fault. And it's like, fuck off. Faith basically says, fuck off. She doesn't. But Faith kind of locks up again. You can see her closing up. She's like, whatever.
I'm not looking to hug and cry and learn and grow. I'm just saying, happen quick, you know?
Searching through his files, Buffy sees that all the stuff is missing, confirming that, which makes her start to do that thing that Buffy's very good at doing, which I totally believe that she's like, this is suspicious. Why wouldn't he have any files? Like, maybe he is part of this conspiracy. And when they go to leave, they overhear Mr. Trick and the mayor talking about turning up the heat. And this is sort of confirming that the mayor's a big baddie. He's not a good guy. He's not a good guy.
He's a baddie.
He's a baddie.
Faith makes a joke when they first walk into the office to say, like, looks like we've done the world a favor because basically Alan was a boring bastard, which I thought was like a bit extreme, but it's obviously setting, that stage for how Faith deals with this is, by joking and not coping with it very well. And just a little bit in the in-between scene before we go into Buffy and Faith walking, there's a little bit of Sunnydale town stock footage, and I thought there was a big Irish flag there.
Didn't notice.
Yeah, I'll have to put it in and see, but it was like had a big Irish flag.
Or Italian, because sometimes the Irish flag and Italian flag get mixed up.
Oh, it would make sense if it's like an Italian restaurant, actually. That's probably what it is.
Stupid boy.
Buffy and Faith leave and mention that the mayor is a black cat, which I didn't really get the reference of a black cat. Do you know what that means?
From Westerns. Remember when we were talking about the white hats from the
yes,
Wish?
that's
it comes
right,
from
okay.
Westerns.
And then basically Buffy calls Faith two-faced and is calling her up on the fact she's pretending to be okay. It's like a two-faced bitch because you're not okay. It's like,
oh, well, you'd know all about that, wouldn't you?
Why?
No, that's what Buffy basically says.
Oh, right. Yeah. Sorry, I was like, I thought you were talking to me. Buffy explains how she's feeling like she understands because she's like feeling dirty about the murder, and Faith, as usual, just kind of bats it away and says it's nothing. Faith talks about running away. If she needs to, she'll just run away. There's 2 freighters leaving a day from the docks, and which is like
Chekhov's freighter.
Chekhov's freighter, thank you. Buffy's clearly freaked out, and I just kept sort of going like you could clearly see like a lot of like, but then she is a goodie. She doesn't want to kill people, so I go back and forth in my thoughts on it. Like I'm like, if you and I feel like you would deal with murdering someone much better than I would.
Yeah. But I do have many traits of a classic psychopath.
No, but not even in that way. I just think you'd be very good at like
compartmentalizing.
Yes.
It's because I was a Christian.
You're a gay Christian.
Well, yeah, because a lot of like your prayer life and being able to like deal with trauma and stuff, it's very, we've talked about this before, I think briefly. It's very similar to therapy in many ways. And that's why I feel like as an adult, I'm semi well adjusted because of like a lot of the YWAM culty Christian stuff has like, CBT, capturing your thoughts and all of that, and compartmentalizing like harmful things and capturing them before you like say things out loud or act on them. But I also think being able to like put things in different boxes to like that you can deal with when you've got better skills or stuff like.
See, funny, Young would not be CBT orientated.
Well, Young's not the only psychiatrist out there, right?
So I love Young, Carly Young.
Carly Young.
Carly Young. Hi, Carly. Anyway, sorry. Faith talks about running away in the freighter. Yes, said this. Buffy's clearly freaked out, and Faith points out, and I quite like this, Faith points out how many thousands of people that they saved, and that like Buffy's saved the world, and like maybe they're owed a few, in a way. And to be honest with you, Faith isn't wrong, because when we find out a little bit later on from Giles, that is it does happen sometimes. You're in the field of battle, the same way there's friendly fire can kill like soldiers and stuff. It's that's why it isn't murder, it's killing. It's a different sort of form of whatever. And basically Faith says like she is better than everyone. They are better than everyone because they have superpowers, and they save the world, so they get to do whatever they want, murder whoever the fuck they want.
Something made us different. We're warriors. We were built to kill.
To kill demons. But it does not mean that we get to pass judgment on people like we're better than everybody
We
else.
are better. That's right. Better. People need us to survive. In the balance, nobody's gonna cry over some random bystander who got caught in the crossfire.
She has points. This is like one of those whenever a conspiracy theorist finds out that one of the conspiracies they believe in is true, so therefore all the conspiracies are true. She's like, just because he has some salient points doesn't mean that you can just go murder whoever the fuck you want, including Xander.
It's complex, like, and that's the thing about superheroes in general. They kind of are a mirror to society for like complex morality things, you know, where it's you can rely on someone who's in that position to make that call that we will never usually have to be able to make. So Buffy and Faith are walking right by the shop that they robbed less than 24 hours ago.
Windows fine.
Yeah, completely. Like that's one thing about Sunnydale.
Fully stocked.
Actually, yeah, probably because it's the same shop as they probably broke into in the Zeppo as well. They just are like have that window person on retainer. I love when they start talking about it and Buffy does say the thing like, "Oh, I guess you know all about that, you know, not showing your true face or whatever." And then Buffy goes off on a rant and Faith's like, "Is there going to be an intermission in this?" Which I thought was great because Buffy has been a bit ranty. Like, I do think that Buffy has been a little OTT, especially when she says like, I'm what, you just see the dead guy in your head for the rest of your life. And I love that Faith says, I'm not going to see anything. I'm like, that's kind of healthy in an unhealthy way. You know, she's like, no, I mean, I think that the principle of being like, there's a lot of stuff like what you said where Faith makes sense. Like this was an accident that happened. And this is one of the first times Faith is even acknowledging it. So it gave me hope initially that like, okay, yeah, she's going to be able to come through this. I think that Faith's reaction to it seems way more normal than Buffy's.
Yeah.
But that might just be me. And I did right. I think that Buffy's kind of pushing Faith to be this way. But Faith says the inside thought out loud when she's like, we're better. That's right. Better. And I'm like, realistically, I would probably feel that way if I had superpowers as well.
Am I buffing your Faith in this scenario?
I actually think I probably am because I'm an absolute ride.
Fair. And I'm not.
And you're goody two shoes.
And very much so in the costume that she's wearing throughout this whole...
Goody weak ankles.
Fuck yeah, it's so true. Buffy goes home and this beautiful man, he is actually a beautiful man, of course.
Call him by his name. It's Detective Moustache.
Daddy, I love him!
Buffy goes home and some beautiful police officer who when he pops up, I'm like, okay, this is Tony's type completely, because you do love like also bald man. Like,
I love a bald man.
That has like the hair
My favorite,
has your favorite haircut.
I wrote that in here as well.
And now, a little from our favourite detective. Catch the full interview next week.
In Buffy, you play the sexiest detective with the mustache, Paul Stein, who on no other than 3 separate occasions questions Buffy about her involvement in 3 completely different murders. As far as we're aware from watching it, and Dave and I talk about this in the episode, we think that Paul Stein is a good guy that doesn't really know about the supernatural in Sunnydale. But I just wanted to ask, do you have to do much prep for a character like that where you don't really know if they're good or bad, or do you get any direction, or can you kind of build your own backstory?
I mean, that's just so right up my alley, playing these detectives and military types. I pretty much don't have to do a lot of background work unless there's something unusual about him, or, you know, he's got a twist in the end where he's, you know, you think he's a good guy, then turns out to be the bad guy. There might be some layering you want to put in, but pretty sure he's clueless to the supernatural world that's around him. And he does seem to believe Buffy, and he seems sympathetic to her. I think they wanted that. You know, he's not really mean to her. He's kind of like, well, it sounds like Ted did smack you, so we're going to kind of, you know, so he really trusts her. And directorial wise, going on to these TV shows, a lot of the directors, a lot of them don't have an acting background. So a lot of times you won't get no's. They might be more technical or come up as a producer. So they're really into, I've cast the right person, just let them go. So most of the time, if a director doesn't give me a no, I know I'm doing it right.
And we have a scene with the detective, and I really enjoyed the filming of this scene, the crossfading between and using the detective. I was going to say MacDonald, but it's not. It's James. James's real name is James MacDonald. What's the detective's name? Do we know?
Stein.
Stein, Detective Stein. We use Detective Stein as the sort of the word to do the cut. Really interesting way to question the two of them. Also, great way to show that their stories aren't sort of lining up, but not quite lining up. You know, Buffy says they're watching infomercials. Faith says they're watching an old movie.
Well, because there's not a thing that's like if the stories are too perfect, then it's most likely fake.
Yes, if it's exact. Yeah, because people forget or people like lie slightly. But you would remember it was a film versus an infomercial. You might forget which film, but not you. And he says that witnesses have caught them, and even mentions that the weapon that was used to kill the guy was wood, showing that they know. But Faith is so cool throughout this whole thing. Like, she's doing exactly what you're supposed to do with the police officer and not tell them any information unless they arrest you. So she's just going like, okay, no problem. And I thought, that's really cool. Buffy, not so much. Like, I'm tired, can I go to bed, please? And she's dead sleepy. And then the cop's like, no problem, sweetheart. And I thought he got the inkling that Buffy was the more innocent of the two, but he's asking the two of them the same questions. Because we see that because when he asks her something like, it may not be you, like if you need to talk to me, but then we see that cuts to Faith and he's saying that to her. So I quite liked that. I didn't know whether he was supposed to be a baddie or a black hat himself, so I just got, no, I think he's just a detective. I think he's just doing his job as a detective.
We never really find out whether Stein is on, the mayor's payroll. He's technically on
but
the
he
mayor's
is,
payroll.
But that's what I mean, because the mayor is in charge of the police. The mayor can ask the police to go and investigate
it's whether
something.
he's corrupt or if he's a bit more like Commissioner.
I get the feeling he isn't.
No, because I think that's why they show us scenes of him like leaving and stuff. Like, we're left with him a bit longer than a normal character. One, obviously, because he's gorgeous, and two, because I think they're trying to like imply that he is really trying to solve
the murder. Yeah, it's
case,
like there's another TV show where he's just a detective in this superstitious supernatural town that all these weird murders keep happening in, and he's like, what the fuck is going on?
That's actually a great premise for a TV show. And there's not really any that are like that yet. Like, just specifically like, well, there probably are.
But like, he never thinks that it's supernatural. That'll be interesting until like maybe the end of season 2. But when we see him leaving Faith's motel, we see like Angel coming out like Batman.
Yeah.
I'll get you, Joker.
The pale moonlight was shining on the top of that man's bald, shiny head. Shane.
Shane.
I love the music that they were using. And I think the flipping between the scenes, it did almost feel like you were dropped into a different style of filmmaking.
Felt like CSI a little bit too. It had that like more...
Yeah.
I agree, sorry.
I'm just saying he is so gorgeous to me. Like, and I wrote, he has my favorite hair too. Literally not even joking. I think he is the hottest man ever.
He is a very good looking man.
I love him.
He is a very good looking man.
And I was about Angel, like I wrote, Angel is skulking around the shadows like he's in Sunset Beach, like waiting for someone to finish saying their lines and just walking out and being like...
Such a good
Do you remember
catch.
Sunset Beach? I used to love it. The way they'd always just be turned away from the camera and be like...
That's where we get that look from, I think, is from watching.
I think the girl's name was Annie. She had like red hair. She was like ginger. She was like a ginger bitch.
Yeah.
A ginger bitch. Sorry.
I don't think there's any other type of ginger.
But how could she be? Oh my god, reality check. I've been hanging around the psych ward way too long. I mean, there's no way that Maria could be.
Ginger bitch. That's funny.
You don't need it.
You're funny. Anyway.
Thanks. So the next scene shows Willow at her computer, and then Buffy drops by, and Willow is talking about Uncle festering her feelings, and she admits she's basically jealous and hates being left out. And I really like that she does this, like, as she opens up, she's done the thing where it all just comes firing out of her mouth, and she's like, I know I do this, and I know I've like blah, blah, blah. And then it gets kind of funny because she says, like, I know I can't kill someone with my bare hands. And then this causes Buffy to cry like fuck. And Willow shits herself and she's like, sorry, I could be harsh sometimes. And it just really made me laugh because she's not being harsh in the slightest. Yeah. She's like, I know I can go over the top.
Sometimes I unleash. I don't know my own strength. It's bad. I'm bad. I'm a bad person.
That really made me laugh, which I thought was needed. I thought there was a little bit of Willow light relief was needed in this whole episode. It
makes you realise how much we haven't had Willow light relief in a wee while.
Some of the way that Willow is speaking here, especially when it's like, I'm sorry, I like did this, I like sometimes I'm too harsh and I say things, blah 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 blah. Reminds me of Rory from Gilmore Girls. There's something in the pacing of the way she speaks. Basically, Buffy admits that she's in trouble. So that scene ends with Buffy admitting that she's in trouble. And then we have a little cut to Buffy has like already done the explain of what, so we don't have to listen to it all again. Fucking talking shit. And then Willow's just like, you need to go talk to Giles.
Yeah.
What about this little scene in Willow's bedroom?
First of all, Buffy's coat. I'm just like, what are you doing?
What are you doing? What are you doing?
What are you doing? I love that we see Willow take a really healthy approach to sorting out their friendship when she's like, listen, I've been letting things Uncle Fester and I'm just going to need to kind of sort this out. Once again, we're reminded of what an incredible crier Sarah Michelle Gellar is. Like,
it was so
absolutely
real.
Brilliant. Yeah. And again, Willow's response, sometimes I unleash, I don't know my own strength. She's like, I'm a bad person. I'm a really bad person. I'm just like, incredible. Very, very, very good. Alison Hannigan yesterday on Instagram posted a video being like, don't know if you know this about me, but I love crafting. And she's sitting in front of like a wall of like wool and stuff. And I wrote underneath, I was like, oh my God, she's going to be starting like a crafting blog.
I think you need to start watching The West Wing to really, really fall in love with Alison Janney, because she is the most incredible actor ever.
I guess we're done with my thing already.
Don't patronize me.
I love that they cut out the part where Buffy tells Willow. I just thought that was a great way of obviously getting past that exposition.
I really appreciate when TV shows do that.
But I also love that even though Willow doesn't like Faith, she still gives her the slight benefit of the doubt at this point when she says, you know, like maybe it was just an accident or whatever. Obviously, we'll see that change later. But yeah, Continue on.
So we jump to the library. We cut to the library and Buffy is about to tell Giles. She comes in like looking all coy. It's the coyness, I think, is bothering me with Buffy in this. It's like, I get the guilt, but it's like, I don't understand. It's rare that Buffy just doesn't take the bulls by the horns and be like, fuck Faith, why am I frightened of her? Like, but maybe the consequence of her being, well, Faith has said, well, you were part of it. Or does that happen later on? Anyway, I'll get to it when I get to it.
No, that happened already in the classroom.
Oh, yes. So it's like, well, you were there too, so you're part of this. B. I hate that she calls her B.
I love
it. Just doesn't work for me. I've tried to get on board with it, but I'm like, it feels so like, when people try to call me D, and I'm like, I'm not a D.
Or people call me T, but
I call you T sometimes.
That is funny because I was addicted to T. Oh my God.
We cut to the library and Buffy's about to tell Giles, and then Faith pops out and is intimidating her, and I'm like, I still don't get why she's so intimidated by Faith. Like, she can kick a fuck out of Faith because she's a better Slayer, in my opinion.
See, I don't think she's intimidated by her. I think that she's so wrapped up in she's still trying to protect her and she doesn't know how to do it without getting her in trouble.
Very good. Thank you. That's fixed it in my brain. Thank you. It's the only thing it's been like jarring a little bit. Thank you. You've straightened that for me. Thank you. Ironically.
No one's ever said that to me.
And it turns out that Faith touted on Buffy to Giles, saying that it was all Buffy that did it. And she's like, so... And then Giles has this, like, sexy, deep voice, and he gets really... I was like, Tony's hard. I hate that I know when you've got the hard. Yeah.
I hate that I know when you've got hard. We're just so close.
I get a hue of your erection.
You're like, because I'm hard too.
But he's like, no! He like proper shouts at her, which brings me back to yesterday. I had to tell off my two nibblings because they were literally fighting at the top of the stairs and Katrina had left. And I was like, please stop fighting. Go into the bedroom and stop fighting the stairs. And they just ignore me. Like, wait! That's it! I hate shouting! Stop it now! And I was like, hate shouting. I was like, but you're not listening to me. You're not. And the two of them were like, I was like, I never shout, but they weren't. They were literally pushing each other over the edge of the stairs, and I'm like, "You fucking idiots! Get into your bedroom and beat the crap out of each other, not on the stairs."
I'm like, kill her.
Anyway, I've probably given them PTSD now.
That was scary.
Sorry if I shouted that down the microphone.
Oh, my freaking ears!
And I just wrote here, Faith is such a wee dick. Buffy's doing nothing but trying to help her the whole way through this, even protecting her by not running and telling everybody, and she's just touted on her, which I quite like that Faith knows that Buffy can't hold her water and has to just go and fucking tout on her first, which I just appreciate from that character side.
No.
I don't want to hear any more lies.
You can't be serious. You're setting me up.
Get to my office now. Faith, I'll talk to you in the morning.
Just please, you have to.
Now.
Yeah.
Faith is a wee dick. Giles comes into the office and Buffy's like immediately scrambling, like, it wasn't me. And he's like, I know. And I'm like, oh.
He's like, but I caught you on the counter.
Wasn't me. And I was relieved because I was like, what the fuck? Why are we regressing in Buffy and Giles' relationship? And it was like a complete play. He was like, I just wrote here, Giles being a cheeky wee bitch spoofing because he just didn't want Faith to. He needs a little bit of time basically to figure out how to help Faith again. Everyone's trying to help Faith. She can't see that. Can't see the love that's there for her because anyway, he looks so concerned, and I love this paternal love between him and Buffy.
Yeah.
This is just carrying on from episode to episode to episode. The only one that I kind of missed it in was that Zeppa one, which makes me think Zeppa was written as it could be put into anywhere in the series.
Yeah.
In the season, do you know what I mean? And they do that. I think shows that had the 24, 22, 24 episode seasons, I think they used to just have filler episodes that they might have
And figure out where to put them.
Yeah, or put it in as and when needed, like to push something closer to Thanksgiving or Christmas, do you know what I mean? Giles explains that this has happened before. Like that he
completely diffuses the situation.
Yeah,
instantly.
he's like, why didn't you come to me? Of course this has happened before. Like, you're in the field of battle. Like, things happen. Accidents happen. Like, we investigated as a Watcher Council, and then we decide the outcome from then, which is also a bit of Chekhov's Watchers Council coming in later on, which I thought this episode did a really good job. As always, Marty Noxon does a really good job of peppering these things throughout it, and just once, so that later on it comes back and pays off. I really like those payoffs that she does. And I also appreciated Buffy's makeup here. It was fucking class, because they had the tears running the whole way down her, like you could see the makeup because of the way she's crying. Instead of just having I think this is something Tavi said in the last one. Instead of just having mascara, it's like the real thing is like you see the tracks of the tears. Yes, the foundation. And when you look at, there's a shot where you see the foundation's been smudged away, and I'm like, oh, that's such a good. So thanks, Tabby. That was a really good. Like, I've now spotted that later on to see that's really a little bit of detail that makes it feel like she's just been sobbing her eyes out all day and all night, all evening. Sorry.
And the thing is, because she's such a good crier, it probably is because they're doing so many takes and she's literally crying it off.
Giles admits that there is no helping Faith while she's in denial, and which is all very much
like when did Faith go to Egypt?
And I really liked that. Obviously, we're getting to the young age stuff, and also grief, and even to do with like addiction. It's not until you admit that you are addicted, until you're out of that denial stage, that can you begin the healing process. Not until you, in my opinion, this is the
you
thing.
You have to help yourself
about
first before you can.
You can look at the actions, but until you look at the cause, not the effect, can you start to heal the underlying issues, which is sometimes the CBT versus analytical therapy. Sometimes analytical therapy doesn't help people, so that's why you have CBT. Anyway, I think any therapist there, tell me how wrong I am.
My therapist says
you're wrong.
You're so wrong.
You're wrong.
You're wrong. You're so wrong.
And then we see here that we do a slow pan, because I was like, wow, we're doing a shot outside the room. That's really interesting. And then I was like, oh, Faith's there. And it's not. It's Wesley's there. Wesley's in there just listening, doing it like, face. And then we cut the break.
Yeah.
What have you got for me?
So I love the switcheroo of this scene. I love Giles being such like a big dramatic diva to throw Faith off the scent. You know, I can just imagine like Faith trying to tell Giles the story and he's being like,
yeah. But every time she turns away from me, he's going.
Can we also talk about the fact that Faith lied to Giles, completely threw Buffy under the bus for murder? Murder. Like, what the fuck does she think's going to happen?
Yeah.
Like, is Buffy going to be the one that goes away? And Faith's like, well, remember our friend Buffy before she went and murdered someone? But one of the things I loved was that when Faith says, he needs to know like what you did, and she can't look her in the eye. She can't look her in the eye for the rest of the scene. But there's that like Christopher or like Hans Zimmer style, like sting in the music.
Didn't hear it.
Would you like to hear it?
He had to know what you did.
What I did? Just no.
Really, really good. And I'll pop it in here. And I noticed it because it happens again in another couple of episodes where they find something out about a lie, and it's like,
thank you for not spoiling that. Very good.
You're welcome. But I just love that it's just like Faith is literally burning the one person that like had her back. And yeah, Giles, obviously sexy as fuck, rock solid, listen to his whole big shouting at Buffy. And then I do like how quickly he does diffuse the whole thing. And this is kind of why I blame Buffy for being so OTT, because I'm like, it's even Giles is like, it's not that big of a deal. I mean, he doesn't say that. It obviously is a big bit of a deal. It's more what Faith is going through is the big deal. It's not necessarily the murder. It's like how she's responded to it, and but I do think Buffy has a huge part to play in how she's maybe unlocked some of that trauma for Faith, or unlocked those feelings, which kind of plays into like the shadow self idea, because it's like Buffy is actively working out her shadow self, and Faith is just like this is
Pretend it's
the whole
not
thing
there.
about the whole thing about integration and like denial. Like Buffy is working it out by talking, trying to figure it out, and she integrates that back into herself to be more well-rounded, whereas Faith is just all shadow at this point. Also, Wesley and his mad superhero, he definitely has to have a hearing aid in, because
Yeah.
he was standing
not even
so far
speaking that
away.
loud.
Giles is like mumbling. He's like,
I was going to say something actually you said that you triggered me to think about, and it was like, do you know, I'm always like, why does no one ever believe Buffy when she comes in and says the supernatural thing? You're like, no, I don't think so, you're wrong. Why doesn't Buffy just always go to Giles first? Like, he knows everything. He's been doing this for like not hundreds of years, but like 30 years or something. And like
894 years.
But he's been part of the council that's been doing this for centuries and centuries, you know. I just thought that was like quite a, like, underestimating Giles' thing. Like one of those, like, when a teenager just, instead of just, it's like the thing I keep telling my nieces and nephews, it's like, stop lying. Just tell the truth. If you get caught in trouble, you're going to get in trouble because you're a teenager and you're doing your boundary thing, and that's fine. But the more you lie, the more in trouble you get in. You're going to get in trouble, but the sentence will get longer and longer the more you lie. Not the sentence that I'm telling right now, but the sentence of your punishment will get longer and longer and longer.
Even if you do something bad, but then you tell the truth,
the consequences are much, much less than if you continue lying, because you're just like,
yeah,
it's like,
especially to yourself. That's like the weightlessness that comes from just being truthful about something is just,
yeah, integrating the shadow self into yourself feels lighter. Yeah, look at
shadow,
us.
shadow avocado,
shadow,
shadow avocado.
Let's go. What's the next bet?
So we cut to Wesley's hotel room for the smallest scene ever, and we catch up with Wesley fresh from his eavesdropping sesh at the local library, and he phones the council and he's like, the password is monkey.
His English accent is starting to...
it's actually, no, it's so good. I still think it's just, he's very...
Yeah, it's very good. Yeah, fair,
he's my
fair,
baby
fair,
boy.
Fair enough.
He's my baby boy.
Fair enough.
We cut to the school cafeteria. We've got a secret Scooby meeting in the cafeteria. I really liked this choice of location, but I also thought it was a smidge strange. But I kind of like that we were seeing somewhere new. Did you like the framing of the characters and the way they were sitting?
I loved it. I loved the what do you call it? The tableau of it when it first opens. I was like, oh, this is really interesting. You don't get to see them. I don't know.
Yeah.
Thought it was class.
Well, I noticed this as well in Helpless. Like, why I'm always like, why is someone sitting on the table? Why is whatever? And it's just because they're creating an interesting visual eyeline for the
Tableau,
audience.
Yeah, it's much nicer to watch.
Gershwin does this again later on in the library when Angel shows up and they're all sitting at different points around. I just thought, yeah, I loved it. Willow suggests maybe that they should talk to Faith as a group, and Buffy's like, nah, use your pure shouted interventions. Do you not remember when you tried one on me and I nearly beat the fuck out of Xander?
True.
And Xander's like, I think maybe I could reach Faith on this one, because obviously, presumably, he thinks it's because they've bucked and he thinks they have a connection, and everyone's like, what are you talking about? Willow's the first to clock it, and I do love that little part later where she's like, I don't need to say, oh, like I got it like before everyone else. And it's slowly revealed through this kind of comedy conversation that Xander and Faith have had sex, and that's why he thinks that they're close. Buffy is literally the worst, but also so humbling in this moment when she's like, Xander, Faith doesn't really take the guy she has a connection with very seriously. But she doesn't leave it there. She says she kind of takes them as like a big joke. No offense. And I was like, that's me. That's me insulting someone. I'm like, because it really is that. One of my favorite jokes to say to people is like, this is why everyone hates you. No offense.
I know. I've been on the other end. You're saying this like I am not your friend, and I've been for 20 odd years.
Well, I love it. I love that people don't know that I'm joking, because my type of humor isn't accessible to everyone, because you have to have a higher IQ. But
That's very
But
interesting.
I do love Xander's response when he's like, "Oh no, why would I be offended by that?"
I really loved all of the nuance in this. Sorry, all the nuance acting in this is fucking very good.
Even Buffy being like, "What are you talking? Like, why do you?" Because I'm like, how has Buffy not put two and two together? In the last episode, Faith was like, "Why have you never shagged Xander? Like after you've been like out and about?" So I thought she had told Xander, but unless she was just randomly talking about, I'm like, okay, well, Buffy is a wee bit stupid for not putting two and two together.
She's a stupid bitch.
Giles tells Xander he can help him do some research and work on Mr. Trick in the mirror. And Willow looks dead sad as Giles asks her to access the mayor's files. Like, understating the obvious here, that the mayor's clearly up to something. Buffy asks him about, like, what are you going to do with Faith? You know, the whole fucking point of this meeting in the first place. And he's like, literally, Chick, I've got no idea. I need you to give me a wee bit of time. Buffy says, well, she needs help now. I owe her that. And I'm like, no shit, Buffy. Your OTT antics have driven her over the edge.
So true.
So we cut to the toilets and we have this lovely, it's just a short scene, but it's so informative because of just how great of an actress like Alison Hannigan is. We hear a sad song and we hear Willow sobbing in the toilets, reeling from the news that Xander has had sex with Faith. I almost had like two thoughts in one time at this point, and after I give my, please chime in with your thoughts on these two scenes. First of all, I was like, how does Xander have a chokehold on these women in Sunnydale? Like, you know. But afterwards, I literally was like, there is something really complex about this scene. Like I said, it highlights just Alison's acting chops. Like, obviously, Willow, when you really think about it, she's been in love with Xander for years. And this is like she's overwhelmed. I think this is a mixture of emotions of like, she's mourning the loss of like their childhood bond and their innocence. And it's just like, this is the moment where they have to grow up. And I just thought it was like, oh my God, I'm going to cry talking about it. I just thought it was like a really poignant, like wee moment that I've never thought before when I'm watching it, because I've never had to think analytically. I'm just like, why is she crying? Like she's got a boyfriend, not understanding the nuance of like feelings.
Does it matter?
In that way. And I just thought it was incredible. Thoughts on these scenes? Why am I crying?
Absolutely love both the scenes. You have a cry, everyone. Thoughts on both these scenes? I think of it as one scene anyway. It's that little bit at the end for her on her own. It feels because it's needed. Just the nuance in the acting from everybody. Everyone's acting with their faces. It's show don't tell. All of them. Like even Giles is sort of just allowing the teenagers to be teenagers, and him just sort of sitting back and being like, right, okay, well, we need to still fucking figure out the big bad here. And they're all like, but what about Faith? And then he's like, whatever. We need to sort like the mayor's obviously bad. That's not a good I kind of like everyone's different perspectives and what's important to each character. Xander wants to feel seen, and like he lost his virginity to this person. It's really important, and like to him, and like he felt the connection. And they do imply there was a connection because at the end, when they do have sex, remember when they do have sex, there is a bit of affection.
There's a bit of
kicks
cuddling.
him out. And then, but I thought I can't tell if they're doing the cuddling, kicking out thing to show the okay, I'm done, or it could. I don't know if they're playing it for real or for comedy. So you could read it either way. I guess it was there, so I get to pick that. I think there is. I have said that there's more. That I think there's. I personally think there has been something. Sexual assault or something that's happened to Faith. She implies it often, but I think there's implications that she has had to grow up quickly and defend herself, and there's like,
especially but later when she's talking to Angel, and she's like, first it's like you don't have to do anything, or then can I stay the night or whatever. And it's kind of
that is what's telling me that there's more to this. There is an implication that she has had because she's been in the streets and stuff. And when you hear of stories of girls in the street and stuff, and men are fucking disgusting.
Yeah, like she's been exploited, like either sexually, or she's maybe also just had a lot of sex without intimacy, so therefore she doesn't, view it.
Whereas Buffy has, and she has that with the Angel, even though the outcome of that was terrible, but she has had loving sex. It was her first time having sex.
And jealous is like the ultimate STD.
Yeah. And Xander hasn't either, which is unfair because he wanted to. He wanted it to be like he was in that place of like when you're a horny boy and you just want to have sex, but you're still a human being and you want to have that connection and love. And I think that's the thing that annoys me sometimes when it's like boys just want one thing. It's like, yeah, they also want to be cuddled afterwards too because we're fucking human beings as well. But anyway, I love this. I love that Willow's hurt. That's so true. I really like that. I didn't feel like I thought that was earned. Like I think that she's the one it was Xander that was taking advantage of her love. whenever they were sleeping, whenever they were getting off with each other, she could tell that like that has been there for so long throughout their whole childhood, probably, that she's always had a crush on Xander, and he just has completely not seen her at all. And then I think it's deserved that she gets to have a cry, and I loved it.
It highlights the complexities of like human emotion. Like you can be in love with your boyfriend, but you can also be hurt that someone that you've loved for so long,
that your ex is now getting married. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the emotional heart is also like a muscle that like it with each relationship it grows and reshapes, and it changes
Yeah.
your capacity for love for the next person.
And I don't think of closing it off. I actually am like, I'm much more open to love now than I've ever been. It's just I'm much more careful about when I want to give that out to someone. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, actually for me, not to get a little bit deeper in that, and it's like, and learning to love myself is a big thing, because I realized
Yeah.
very early on that I hate myself, and it's a really horrible thing to say. Something that happened when we had to take the break from the podcast is I couldn't physically look at myself anymore because of my feelings for myself, which is so horrible and deeply ingrained because other people seem to like me. So that's the part of the stuff that I've been learning, and that's what I will continue to do.
He's a catch, but gay. No, he's not gay.
Xander is moping on the stairs of the library while we see Faith lying in bed watching TV in the shiniest pleather-looking pants ever, obviously from Primark. When the door knocks, obviously Xander thinks he's got something important or worthwhile to say because he's showing up to Faith's despite being told by everyone not to.
What's that? Xander's not listening to what women's opinions are? Oh, that's so weird.
However, I do feel like what he does come with, which we'll talk about, was actually quite nice for Xander. So Xander offers to be a listening ear because he heard what happened, prompting Faith to say, well, go talk to Buffy because she's the one who killed the guy. I'm like, she's sticking to this bit. Xander's trying his best to reach her, but Faith turns the tables on him, chucking him on the bed and dry humping the absolute life out of him, telling him she could make him scream or she could make him die. And then she starts choking the absolute fuck out of him. Then we hear the door open, and as Faith turns around, Angel smacks her in the face with a baseball bat.
So in this scene, I was like, there is a moment that I loved Faith, Alicia
Dushku.
Thank you. I struggle with that because of the lisp, because of the two different ways of saying the S, the Z and the S. It's hard for me to do that.
Douche.
I go to Alicia Dushka. Eliza Dushka. Sorry, Dushku. Fuck! My stupid lisp. There is a moment, her choice there when she's doing it, she's like joking, and then there's like a little hardened look in her face, and I'm like, oof, that's a really great choice. And I don't know if it's scripted or whether it's maybe just a directorial or whether she just is like, as a woman, has decided to include this, like, maybe I could kill him. And then it's kind of like, am I enjoying the thought of this? Thought it was brilliant. Really thought it was great.
Yeah.
Thought it was a good smack in the head from Fate, or from Angel as well. Loved this scene. Thought it was really good. And I do think Xander,
his intentions, he had good intentions. I do like that at least now we're seeing a change in Xander where he is actually starting to appear more well-intentioned, whereas before he didn't even appear well-intentioned. Now I feel like he does, and he really is trying to use what he viewed as like their actual connection to like reach her, which I thought was really, it was a nice moment from someone who's been sort of like toxically masculine up to this point.
And again, him being written by a woman is always written so well.
So we cut to Angel's, and Angel looks absolutely banging here.
He does.
He's got that like nice long like wool Marks and Spencer's like Christmas range peacoat. I'm like,
yeah,
get it.
Must be roasting because they're in California.
And he's got he always has a massive fire going in that house as well. But Angel's basically trying to reach Faith. He's trying to use his experience basically as a psycho murderer to kind of get through to her, which kind of makes sense that Angel would be the one. And one of the things I love, Buffy is really trying to do the right thing by Faith, as we see when Angel goes out and we see Buffy standing in the courtyard as if Faith wouldn't hear them talking because she literally is a Slayer and can hear them.
Did they have super hearing?
I just presume that they would have heightened senses.
Yeah, fair.
And Buffy finally is really trying to do the right thing by Faith. She continues to see the goodness in her, even though everyone else is starting to tell her, like, she mightn't be able to be saved. And Buffy's like, I love that Buffy's stepped her over the edge. And now she's like, I'll help as much as I can. And she goes to Faith's house to get some stuff for her to show her. Like, she's like, I'll go get her pajamas. I'll show her that we're on her side. So Angel's still trying to reach out to Faith. And he says this line where he's like, you know, the price of evil, like, is it's a lot basically. And she's like, well, I hope evil takes MasterCard. I'm like, gay.
It was the worst line. It was the worst. I was like, oh, if you had taken another go, I don't know what you would have written there, but there's definitely other bits, but gay is great.
I hope evil takes Klarna. I'll be a bit evil this episode, a bit evil the next one, and then my final evil payment will be in 3 months.
Do you do it on tech? Does evil do it on tech?
Yeah, well, I hope evil takes tech. And then as they're kind of talking, and Angel's like really getting through to her, and he says, right as he says, Faith, you can trust us. That's when the Watchers Council break in, beat the absolute shite out of Angel, and I feel like they overpowered the Watchers Council here, to be honest.
Tiny bit. And the net is overpowered.
Unless it was made of silver, and there's a silver thing that we don't know about, but if he had been burnt, that would have been cool after, that's what I would have done if I could do a rewrite. Wesley here also, I feel like we do get a sense, and I've never got it before, I've always felt annoyed by Wesley because that's what the characters are kind of telling us to be, but I kind of feel like he is trying to do the best thing based on the knowledge of who he is and what he believes in for the Watchers Council. It's kind of like, yeah, he's also got the best intentions, he's just pure shite at knowing how to implement them.
Yes, I really agree with you. They overpowered. Really sorry, I'm going to go back to like the scene with Angel and Faith. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really nice to get these two characters that are not Buffy or the Scoobs, and it was nice to get like Angel being fleshed out and him recognizing her behaviors because he has literally been there. That and he's known that even as a human, because Angelus was an evil human, wasn't he as well?
No, he was like
he's a drunken. He was a drunken human. He wasn't evil. Who was? Oh no, I'm thinking of the other in the one with
Kralik.
Kralik, he was the evil. He was misunderstood. But but he still remembers not having a soul, and he's kind of like, it feels like they're all fighting for Faith's soul. And I quite like the kind of greater debate of like, if it's either you've killed him and it's an accident, or if you think in your mind that you've murdered him, then it is murder. Do you know what I mean? If you're
Angel's the only one that actually understands because he's been there. He's killed people. He's killed innocent people with no soul,
and enjoyed it, and had a joy in it
and
too.
He remembers what that feels like. And this little scene sets up what Faith thinks are her usual kind of weapons of choice, which is her sexuality, because she's like, oh, I always knew you weren't a one slayer man, like resorting to her kind of like the sexual, which obviously it does show that's obviously something that she's had to either grow up with.
I think there is, she's able to control men using her sexuality.
Yeah, you and me both, sis.
Yeah, I just think there's a lot of there.
And I love that Angel doesn't respond.
Yeah, he just ignores it because it's nonsense.
Yeah, and that's the thing I think that gets through to Angel, is the only one that doesn't respond to Faith in the way that she can predict.
I think Wesley is doing his job.
Yes,
his job as a watcher is if they obviously have a policy. If an innocent is killed by a slayer, they have to be taken to England to go through because we found out from Giles there's policy, essentially company policy, if you do murder someone or kill someone.
And he does say later, I was trying to save her.
Yeah, and
I
believe
like
him.
She needs to be punished.
He's doing their job. It's the fact that they come instead of just come knocking at the door and saying to Angel, because anyway, I just think there's definitely a different way he could have approached it, to say like, guys, this is the rules, instead of the usual miscommunication. Yeah, and I thought they overpowered the net, because even later on you see that
he's still
stuck
in
there
net
for a while. And he's just kind of.
It's like, I'd hate to see Angel fucking walking down by Portavogie Harbour. He'd be fucking stuck there forever.
Maybe that's his weakness. But yes, so we open up after the break to a van, a little stock footage of a van driving, but this is one of those ones where I felt like, oh, this feels like we're on a stage. Like, because the way the camera pans so far back that I'm like, oh, I can see the box. But it doesn't matter. It's just a little thing in my head. Sometimes if I like suddenly can see, like whenever people are in a lift, for example, I'm like, oh, I can feel the boxiness of the lift and it doesn't feel weighted. Felt the boxiness of this van. Anyway, Faith starts to loosen up her restraints quite easily, and there's only just two of them, and then the guy's like, go tighten her restraints, and I'm like, I feel like you should be a little bit better doing this, but the guy just kind of gets up and she just kicks him, so they haven't restrained her feet. She threatens to kill the guy, as she's getting a little thing, and we hear a bit of crunching of bones, which I thought was great sound.
It's like as her foot is like pressing into his neck.
But yes, Wesley then does set her free.
Set you free.
Wesley's such a card. That's the thing about Wesley. He's like such a. It just feels
he's no real world experience. He's like and he doesn't have the coolness of Giles had all that experience when he was younger, you know, with his mates and being like Ripper and all of that. Wesley is really literally a product of, you know, like he went to Eton.
He's the person who went to uni and then instead went through school, then uni, and then gets a job in a company where someone who's started in the mailroom and worked their way up in the company has a bit more experience and understanding of the company. But Faith then jumps out of the back of the moving van and splits.
So I was just imagining her jumping out and landing and then splits like a RuPaul.
There's a lot in this episode in the first 2 acts, and I feel like the end just kind of is setting us up for the next episode. I feel which I'm all for because I really want to watch it. Then I got anyway. So we cut to Buffy is at Angel's and finds him in a net still, and then we jump again to the library. That's just a very quick thing of like how they got Angel out. I don't think you really need to show us that. Then we have another jump cut to the library with Angel explaining everything at the end of Angel explaining everything, which again I really enjoy.
Yep. Not having to make us sit through exposition
3 times of exposition because we've
like
seen it.
Give the audience their dues.
Yeah.
Which is very different from an episode like Amends where they're hammering us over the head with like with the weather, and with having this as like a direct comparison, now I can be like, okay, yeah, I totally see that.
Yeah. Fair, because so well done.
Marty doesn't underestimate the intelligence of the audience watching, which I think is really like a respectful thing.
I always love a TV show if they let me keep up, like let me figure some stuff out, like don't let me go, oh, I didn't realise that all goes back to such and such and such and such, as we'll see in a wee second. Buffy talks about going to the airport to stop them. Willow asks why, like she belongs behind bars, like she's evil, like she's doing bad, like, and I'm like, yes, Willow, you're so right. She's like, why are you trying to save her so much? Like, and I think there's a little bit in here starting to be like Buffy just needs to save someone because someone died. So she's like, I wonder is there a little bit of like hero complex in Buffy, except like, well, we do know that Faith there are consequences to your actions.
Name of the episode?
And the fact that Faith has thrown her under the bus. Right, Buffy, you're actually being a little bit of a dick here. I think you need to stand up for yourself. I know I'm just being a wee bit harsh when I say that. But Wesley comes in to say, well, it doesn't matter that she's escaped. And Buffy's raging. And then she's like, literally goes to find her. Everyone gives Wesley like the pure evil look whenever they're leaving. I'm like, he's just doing his job. We found out from fucking Giles that this is what they're supposed to do.
They're so harsh to him when Buffy's like, have you still got your ticket back to the motherland? I'm like,
yeah, Buffy's like, fuck off back to England, you fat cunt. And I was like, whoa, that's not mad. That's in the script. And I think they're telling each person to go. She's like, I'm going to go to the docks. And it's like, Angel's going to the airport. And it's like, you two go down to the such and such and find her.
Like I said earlier, I love the staging of the characters in the library. I love the way that we're above them. We don't often see from certain points of view in the library or anywhere else in the school. And I felt like this episode, it's almost like Michael Gershman, because he's the director of photography, was like, well, where haven't we seen yet? And I just thought it was a really nice subconscious thing.
I thought it was a different part of the school for a little while until I realised, I just haven't seen the library at that angle.
And even with the cafeteria earlier, like I love the thought of like all the seats are up because it's being cleaned. Like there's little touches like that I just thought were genius.
And my favourite part of that scene, not my favourite part, but I really enjoyed, was Giles putting the chair back up. When he stands up, he turns it back upside down. I'm like, I don't know why, I just really loved that choice of because Giles would do that.
There was something really visceral. I had this like memory of like, you know, like when you have to put the chair. You remember putting the chairs like one up and then turning the other one upside down? It felt really like I was back in school or something.
Yes, I got that. It was a real nice little nostalgic beat or something. I don't know why.
It is funny how many of those little things that everyone can relate to, or it taps into something that we've all had to.
Worldwide
we've all had to do. Willow, like you said, speaking the absolute most sense when she says, like, well, first of all, she would give Faith the benefit of the doubt when Faith murdered someone, but now after that, she's blamed Buffy, and then she nearly kills Xander, so maybe she belongs behind bars. I'm like, well, she ain't wrong, bitch. I do like that Giles defends Wesley when he comes in, because he says to Buffy, like, stop. because she's like,
Yeah.
you let her get away, and he's like, well, obviously I didn't let her get away, but she's escaped. I'm just like, Buffy, you destroyed her, dickhead. You need to calm down. And I don't know if this is why Buffy is overacting so much. I mean, I have a lot to say when we get into the docs part as well. But yeah, I'll let you move on.
So the next scene, we get this cool opening shot to this amazing like battleship. I don't think it's like a freighter. It looks like a fucking like a battleship. And I really like the quality of this scene. I really like that they are at a dock.
It added like production value to the episode.
It's a crane shot right down to the. I don't think it cuts then to Buffy. I think it is a one shot right down to Buffy. Coming in. So Buffy's searching for Faith at the docks, which we found out earlier on. She remembers from her saying like, I'll go to the docks because there's 2 freighters out a day. And she walks past the gangway that go onto the boat, and she obviously doesn't find Faith. So Faith thinks, she hasn't found me, so should I continue hiding, or will I pop out and speak to her? Because even though I was like, this is the bit where I'm like, Faith walks out weirdly because Buffy had already walked past her and hadn't found her. And then we get a little back and forth with Faith and Buffy, like, which I know you're going to take me through because I didn't want to write it out verbatim because you're much better telling me the kind of scripty lines that you get, because you can remember from anyway. Yeah. That's why sometimes I just say back and forth to get us to the scene. Buffy says that she can be good, and Faith saying to Buffy that, like, basically, in my opinion, it's like Buffy's telling her like, you can be good, and I think Faith's kind of going, well, Buffy, you can be bad. Like it's like either of them are pulling each other, the shadows pulling, like they're pulling each other back and forth, which I really like, and both of them are kind of justified in what they're saying sometimes, and some of what they're saying. Well, obviously everything at Buffy's saying is kind of justified, except I'm like, not everyone's like you. Not everyone needs to be like you. Maybe she isn't. Maybe you have a different life experience. You were loved. She wasn't. There's like a different thing. I really love all of this stuff. Faith winds her up, and I do like a lot of like walking away, and like you can see Buffy's getting pissed off, and then Buffy absolutely smacks her, and I love that just Buffy keeps hitting Faith. Faith's like kind of a bit raging, and then we see like a rope swinging with the massive fucking crate on top of like a rope, which is why you wouldn't just leave that dangling there at the end of the day. It's not like you're the Flintstones and you hear like the big hunk, it's 5 o'clock and you're like about to put the crate down. You're like, nope, I'll leave it hanging there all night.
I just imagine the vampires have went and they've done this. They've went and done it because they're going to try and drop it on them. I don't think it's being coincidentally left there. I think they've done
Interesting read. That's like such a lot of. But how do they know they're going to be at the docks?
Well, because
they've set up a trap.
Only just because the mayor was like, Mr. Trick, go and find the Slayers and deal with this. So he's eventually.
So they set up traps all around the town.
No, but I just imagine that it's a small like suspension of belief to be like, he's obviously found her because she's been waiting on that boat for ages. So maybe they're like, let's set up some sort of like little death trap for a laugh.
Buffy saves her life, pushes Faith out of the way, but gets hit by the crate of shite. They would do a much better job at sneaking up on people if they didn't snarl just before they're going to attack them. But
it was literally like someone had dropped a Foley artist had dropped a microphone into like a lion's den at this point or something because there were so many of them. It was just like they weren't even trying to make them sound vampire. It was just like lion growls.
True. Faith is properly kicking ass and Buffy's trying to get herself loose. Buffy gets loose, gets out, and then Trick smacks her. And then we kind of get the Trick is strong. But Faith, again, is still kicking ass. She kills 2 vampires. But then Trick gets the rope around Buffy's neck and starts really throwing her about at some points and like swinging her around his head and throwing her about. And I was like, holy shit. That was actually really quite visceral because I was like, holy crap. And then we see that like Buffy's stuck and Trick is about to bite her neck. And then...
Oh, no. No, this is no good at all.
I like that we get the old Acme anime, like where somebody runs off the edge of a cliff and then they go and then they fall. Because most people when they get staked die, but he gets to have a little few lines before he dies, which I'm okay for. And I'm like, he goes, oh no, I don't, and then we see like his wee earring falling, which is something I really enjoyed in the bit. If you watch it, like his jewelry falls, which I kind of thought was cool. But Faith takes him, saves Buffy's life before she get bitten, and then the girls share like a knowing look, like almost, well, you saved my life, so I've saved yours. Doesn't feel like I'm good now. It feels like we're even, which is the read that I got from that little scene. Talk to me about this whole boat scene, my love. Talk to me.
So, well, like you said, I love this shot of the docks. It felt pretty epic or cinematic. It felt it added a load of value to the story. Like, I thought maybe this is probably like a docked boat museum or something because it has that kind of feel to it. Buffy's dressed like Pat Butcher.
Somebody call Us Weekly. Let's find out who wore it best. You bitch!
In her like cow print or Dalmatian print
Himalayan snow leopard
coat. Like, she's just living it up with these coats these days. Buffy literally has the quickest 180 ever. She goes from looking for Faith to literally walking away from Faith. She's spent all this time looking for her, and then Faith is like says something she doesn't like, and Buffy walks away. She's like, "You're sick." I'm like, "Were you not trying to help her like a minute ago?" And now you're walking away calling her sick. All because Faith was like, "You don't like that I remind you of how powerful that we are," which I think is like she's confronting Buffy with the truth of her shadow self, essentially. And I like that she tells Buffy, like, "I've seen you, like, you've got the lust, you've got it." And Faith is obviously trying to force this confrontation with Buffy because she brings up Riding Angel, and she's like, "Oh, I bet you loved it, and I bet you still like fancied him when he was evil." And that's when Buffy's like,
She smacks
"Stop,"
him.
she smacks her. And then when she saves her and we get into that kind of fight, I love that the fight seemed a bit more like a brawl, which was great, especially for Faith's fight choreography. It seemed less gymnastic, and it was more like they were all like pummeling the fuck out of each other.
Yeah.
And like you said, I was genuinely worried about Buffy when Mr. Trick like trails her around by that big red ribbon thing, nearly fucking broke her neck.
I know.
Like, what are you doing? Having Faith save Buffy at the end there, like I love it because I think it just furthers the complexities of like Faith's character, like that things aren't black and white. And I just had this thought of like, things aren't black and white either for Buffy. Like, Buffy exists in a gray area and Faith is like a dark gray. It's like they're just on the scale of in between then.
So we get back to the library and Buffy explains to Giles again. We skipped the thing. She's explained. We are at the end of her explaining to Giles what has happened, and Buffy can still see the hope in Faith. I've barely much to say here. It's not really too much happens. He's just making her tea, and Giles is just so sweet with the tea. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I just thought the way he's just drinking the tea and giving her the tea is just so.
Yeah, it's like the relationship has evolved from where it was.
Yeah, and saying that she stands a chance. And then at this point, we cut to the mayor's office, who kind of looks a bit disappointed, and he's sort of doing the mayor thing where he's just kind of pottering about. And then he opens the door and Faith's there, and she's like, "I killed him." He's like, "Well, obviously, because you're standing here, so I'm not stupid." And then basically Faith's like, "So there's an opening then?" And I was like, holy shit, Faith has offered herself to the mayor. Did not see that coming. Didn't see that coming. I thought she was going to split town. Didn't expect her to do a 180 and go against go to the big bad.
In the last kind of wee bit with Giles, like, again, I love the storytelling technique of not rehashing what's already happened. They've done that so many times in this episode, and I think they've done it so well that that's what makes it really noticeable compared to other episodes.
Because they would have waffled.
And Giles kind of says, "Buffy, Faith coming back to town bodes well." And I love the goodness in Buffy, like when she says, like, "I'm not going to give up on her," and Giles says, "Well, I think then she stands a chance," and that's Giles basically affirming to Buffy, like, it's because of your goodness. That's the reason why she stands it. He's not saying, well, maybe she'll be rehabilitated. He's like, this is your strength. He's saying, like, your compassion and your humanity is one of your greatest like strengths. And I think that's nice to have Giles affirm that, because Wesley's the Watcher who'll be all about the strength and the technique of the Slayer, and now Giles gets to be like the emotional support. And I think that just further goes to show how much support Faith doesn't have, because now Buffy has two levels of support, one to tick her Slayer box and one to tick her human box. Not her human box, sorry, but you know what I mean.
Tickle her what?
Tickle her human box. But yeah, I just love that. Like what you're saying, I think there's an evolution of Buffy and Giles' relationship now that he's no longer her Watcher, and I think it really furthers the growth in their characters. I love the little last coda scene with the mirror. I love the big Sunnydale County map on the mirror's office wall. It just made me be like, I want to look and see if that's a prop somewhere that you can buy, or if someone's made one. 'Cause I think
I'd be
that would
curious
be
to
a
know
nice...
what county it actually is. In the way, like,
I think it's meant to be like Santa Barbara, because it's like near the sea. It's near
the docks. Yes.
When Faith shows up at the door of the mayor's office, like, I still love this twist every time, and this is like the nostalgia part of me, like, I just remember like watching this and being like in genuine shock because I was like, Faith is going to be a baddie now, and I love the idea of just like pitting a good Slayer and a bad Slayer against each other. And in a lot of ways, I feel like I forgot how long it takes for season 3 to get to this point. And it's not that season 3 hasn't been enjoyable, but it almost feels like up till now we've had like season 2B, and now it's like season 3, because obviously this first 14 episodes have kind of dealt with like the transitional period, you know, between then. So yeah, very, very exciting. Genuinely shocked, and I
was
love
genuinely
that. Like,
shocked.
yeah, I think you're gonna love the relationship between Faith and the Mirror. Like it's
I'm
really
assuming
complex.
it's going to mirror Giles and Buffy's relationship, but bad.
Not even bad. Like it's kind of.
But like, as in their intent is bad, not that their relationship is bad. Their just intent is to be evil, but it's still they still show love in their weird way. But it's like, yeah. I just thought this was amazing. I was completely stunned. Did not expect this to happen. I was like,
the woman was too stunned to speak.
That's very smart. I didn't like go, oh my God. I just was like, fuck, that's really clever. Because now he has, like, even from like a bad guy perspective, he has probably the strongest weapon. And I think that's a really interesting thing that happens a lot with Buffy. It's like, and the council just treat them as weapons, as these powerful weapons that can be used to defeat evil, and forgetting that they're still human beings and people and have nuance.
And that's the thing. Buffy has a support system that helps her feel human, and Faith doesn't. So she, I think, also only views herself as that, and that's why she's now like
she does. All she thinks of is her power and not her humanity. It's her power as a Slayer, not as her. But we see the power of Buffy's humanity, because it's nothing that she almost gets through. The fact that Faith is trying to wind her up so much shows that she's getting through to her in some way, because she's being defensive and going on the attack on Buffy.
Well, because that's the thing. Like, Faith isn't necessarily at this point evil. She's just unintegrated. She hasn't integrated like her shadow self. Like she's not fighting anything. You know, Buffy is trying to find that balance, I guess, and Faith is really just all about basking in the power, which I do think realistically for me. And I know, like, we joke about me being a psycho and stuff, but I think if I had that level of power, there's no way I would be as balanced. I probably would. I think it would be really hard. I think this is the point. It would be really hard to be a good balanced person when you have that much power, because we know that power corrupts.
Yeah.
And I think that just goes to show. It's also to show how good of a person Buffy actually is. Like she has that constant. She has to have that kind of constant choice, you know, to be good. I know everyone kind of has to have a constant choice to be good, but I just love it. Obviously we could talk for ages about the psychology of this episode. I'm going to be going into a slightly deeper dive over on our Patreon this week, so make sure to check that out, where I'm actually going to be reacting to me listening to Becoming Buffy's episode about it.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, it's one of the best resources out there if you want to like look into anything deeper on Buffy. I would really recommend Becoming Buffy to anyone, because Sarah has put in years and years of hard work of stuff. And I actually, when I was listening to it yesterday, I texted her and I was like, I started listening to it, but I can't keep listening to it. Otherwise, I know I'm going to just say all of this stuff as if I've thought it. And I was like, I would rather, because this is a deep episode, just go in with my
your
own
thoughts. I want to hear what you have
to
say, and then react to Sarah's thoughts.
Really, really love this.
Very excited for next episode.
Yeah, next episode you're going to love it, David. It's called Doppelgangland, based on the name. Any thoughts?
I'm assuming there's going to be doppelgangers of the Scoobs and being evil of each other or something. I don't know. That's my little guess. That it's going to be like evil versions of each of the Scoobies.
I'll give you 2 words that will make your dreams come true. Vamp Willow.
Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, wow. Fucking hell. I'm going to have to make sure I have a pre-wank. And
one last question for you before we go into the outro.
Sorry.
Any predictions for Faith for the rest of season 3? And do you think that Faith is redeemable?
Yes. I think she'll redeem by the last episode. I think there'll be a choice she'll have to make to kill Buffy or not kill Buffy. And I think she will. I don't think she's going to do she's a goodie, but I think she's going to show that she is an anti-hero rather than
Uncle Hero.
Than an Uncle Hero. I just think it'll be more. I hope that they allow, because and that doesn't bother me if that. I want that to happen, to be honest, because I think. I don't know. We'll see. But I have a feeling that that's maybe. I don't know how that'll come about. I don't know if there'll be a choice. I don't know when that'll happen. I feel like it'll probably be in the season finale, and it'll be something like she has a choice to make, and then she does it. Same way there, she killed the vampire, but she doesn't then join the guy. She goes and joins the mayor. So it's like she does a good thing for the right reason, but not necessarily for the reason that we want her to do it.
Yeah.
And I feel like for me, the reason why she saved Buffy isn't because she's necessarily good, is that because it's only fair, because Buffy saved her, and there's she's owed that, and it's like, and that's where I think that's really interesting for me anyway. That's how I'm reading that, and I think it's really interesting that it's not just like I'm good now, like. I like, but well, I don't know. We'll see.
I'm genuinely excited for you because you don't really know how it plays out, and I've been purposeful with Faith to not really talk about how it plays out.
You have
so that
been very good, because even when we've had a few guests on, there's been like everyone's, but we haven't. This is kind of the most Faith heavy episode that we've had since maybe the last one as well. These two, Bad Girls and this one, Consequences, and we're now over halfway through the season, and
we've only got 7 episodes left.
Fuck, so that's like and obviously Sarah Tabby had said it was something to do with her age, and that she was 17, so there's like a unionizing thing, and she could work over blah 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 blah. But all that aside, I'm like, I feel like I appreciate the slow burn, and that they've allowed Faith to be pottering around in and out in the background, in and out of the town at times. She's there, sometimes she's not, and now we're getting this. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. And Happy New Year to everyone. I'm assuming this is going to be out in the new year.
Well, actually, the last episode would be our first New Year's episode.
Well, I hope you're still having a good New Year.
And that's it for this week's episode. Everybody, don't forget to like and subscribe or hit that little bell icon to be notified for when we've got a new episode out. We're going to have a cinematic recap of this episode on Monday. You guys have been loving those, so there's plenty of those coming. We've got new Patreon exclusives midweek over on the Patreon, so make sure to check that out for less than the price of a coffee, less than the price of half a coffee.
Per month. Yes, we have been on the ball with content. When I say we, Tony has been on the ball with content, and there's lots over there to listen to and keep up to date with. So if you want to support the pod and keep us alive, go and subscribe to our Patreon, and maybe we should do a little thank you to our recent Patreon, or all of our Patreon subscribers, and give a big shout out, because I'm going to go meet Gary, who's one of our...
I was going to ask you about Gary.
Gary is an incredible magician, playwright, talented actor, really beautiful human, to be fair.
Yeah.
I got to sing at his wedding with his wonderful, that he's now married to, Katrina, who I'm actually going to go and meet now for a coffee, which is why I need to split in a wee second. But
he wrote when he joined the Patreon, it gives you a reason like why you're joining or whatever, and he wrote because he just really was looking forward to supporting us. I was like,
he is the most loveliest human. He's so funny, and he's such a great writer as well. So I actually think he'd be a great person to have on, because he's very thoughtful.
Yeah,
he's very thoughtful. Don't know, we'll see. Maybe
give him a season 4 episode, and let's
give him
get him on.
Let's get him on. Anyway, until then, folks, we'll see you next time. Bye. Thank you for downloading. Thank you for watching.
Bye. Love you. See you later. Oh my God.
Oh my God.